To my office.
One thing that I think made Brandon such a great choice for this, and the right choice for this, is this scene about how much he owned it and the pride that he had in showing off this wonderful camp that they had made for themselves, and kind of like trying to impress Joel, and Joel just very nonplussed about the whole thing. He's like, oh, good for you. Yeah, you've done this.
And relax. We're safe.
Well, the interesting thing, the way I read it is like Joel is impressed, but he's not. He's trying not to show it. He's trying to still test this kid. But there's a lot of he sees himself in Henry.
Yeah. Very, very much so. And this is, I remember we going back and forth about this because...
Oh yeah, because layout changed. Because initially they were going to go through the camp at night, and then we had to change the layout, so we had to go in and re-record these lines.
Well, and there's something on the reverse that it doesn't really matter, but when we shot this, the entire time that he was laying out this plan, I was just looking at him because I was like, I really care about your plan, kid. I care more about you. It's kind of like poker. You don't play the cards, you play the man.
Again, one of those fleeting moments where kids can be kids.
She doesn't seem bothered by all this.
Such a powerful line. And Joel completely just dismisses it. You guys were actually doing that in the background while we were doing this scene. This was so great. It wasn't like shot separately.
I know, we were just fooling around. You guys like, shut up.
It just seems like there's a lot of people putting their stock on the Fireflies these days.
Yeah, maybe there's a reason for that.
So you don't know.
I love this standoff, even though it's a sit-off almost between the two of them, where Joel's just pushing him for information just to see where this kid's grounded.
Easy.
That nod. Yeah, the threat being so subtle, but it's there.
Yeah. And it's the other thing, again, that Brandon did with this that everybody else didn't do. They kind of really got in Joel's face, and he didn't. He didn't posture himself that much. It was just like, I'll take care of mine, you take care of yours. And also that he doesn't correct him about your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Joel doesn't correct him. He's not, she's not my daughter.
You and your girl, you want to join us. It goes down tonight.
I guess we best rest up then.
And I guess that's the most Joel's going to give him.
Yeah. That's all Henry needs. Joel sleeping again. These were my favorite scenes where I just got to sleep.
No, we're going to be moving fast, okay?
And the idea of these two pairs that are coming together.
God, they were such great brothers. Brandon and Najee did such a great job together.
How many bullets do you have left?
I just remember it was funny because jumping off of this bridge, there's just
a rope,
a line of tape, and then you have to like jump off of it.
Because we were both stepping over it at first. They're like, no, this is like 50 feet down.
I was like, so we got to do a whole thing.
It looks ridiculous what we're doing. It's like, with our arms above our head.
I know.
And this part where you're in the water, we had you on a cart.
That's right. And they were like
just pushed you
around.
across the mocap stage.
It was actually pretty violent being on that.
It was.
It was pretty scary. This was part of the audition scene that Brandon did that really just kind of helped us realize we had the right Henry.
He's awake.
Hey, you.
Back to the salesman. It's like, hey, buddy, everything's okay. Everything's
I know.
all right.
I really like that about his character, that he's kind of a salesman.
You know, Sam's the one who spotted you. You guys are taking quite a bit of water. What's wrong? Henry! Get back, son! Hey. He's pissed, but he's not going to do anything.
You sure about that?
Stop!
He's confident. He knows he can calm you down, but he needs Sam to stay out of the way.
Right, just in case.
Yeah.
Chance of making it, and you did. But coming back for you meant putting him at risk. Stay back.
I think there's already the change there. Joel knows it's true.
Yeah.
Joel wouldn't have come back for him.
I saved you.
And even when we were shooting this too, I mean, that's you really get into that moment, and every time that I felt that hand on my shoulder, it's almost like that Hulk moment where you realize, oh, I felt bad for letting you see that part of me, because so far I really haven't, in these moments, let that demon out. I've done what I've had to do, but this is just cold-blooded murder I'm about to do.
The thing with Henry, which Brandon really brought to it, which is making light of everything for Sam. Everything is done for Sam.
Right.
I think he really is intimidated. He is scared of the situation, but he's making light of it so Sam isn't as scared as he is.
Because the second that Sam sees that he's scared, Sam will be scared. Silver lining kid.
You're gonna be really happy you didn't kill me.
This is the longest
Short
dramatic
scene.
in the game. I had to fit that in there. Quit this place since we had it in the first trailer.
I can't quit you.
I remember when we first, the very, very beginning of this, when we like did the first table read through this and everything, and we talked about, I asked if there was going to be a moment of just a light shining through in this darkness, and you talked about this scene, and at that point it was just really kind of just real easy brushstrokes of what it was going to be, and it really came into fruition and became this
Well, all the characters here have their guard down. It's kind of unique because usually somebody's lying or somebody's hiding something.
Right.
And here's like, everybody has their guard down.
They're just talking about motorcycles.
You two deserve a little privacy.
And you were really giving too on this. We spent a lot of time on this, and there was this one scene where you just kind of let me ramble about to where we really feel like we're coming midway into a conversation. I don't remember what was said, but it was just this cool moment.
But you went more into the details of like with Tommy and where you went and the States and all that stuff. I think that really helped kind of make the following takes much more natural.
Right, without all the rest of that stuff, the preamble being there. But I love the turn that he gives right here. It's like the kids have gone to bed now, and we can just talk like adults.
Worst part about it all.
Animation and lighting, right? If you don't capture these looks in the eyes, this scene doesn't work.
Right. The thing that I love about this is that he's set up a little office for himself, kind of like what Henry did. You know, it's this, I'm being official, trying to be a grown-up. But he's still a kid, and we see it in this moment.
I really enjoyed working with Brandon and Najee. Just having them on set was so much fun. They're such
Najee
great
especially,
dudes.
like
Najee's
a trip.
hilarious.
we're doing this crazy scene and we like cut and then he's like just starting dancing or
Yeah.
Singing whatever, YouTube hot song at the moment.
Yeah.
Song bombing us all day.
They were so much fun. I just adore them too. Is everything all right?
You got an opportunity to put so much of you into Ellie.
That's just because I can't write, so I just listen to Ashley talk and then like, oh, that's a good line.
Have a good night. That's giving me way too much credit.
How is it that you're never scared?
It's like
Who says that I'm not?
putting up the defense, making joke of it as Ellie does.
Yeah.
And then seeing when she needs to, because that's the only way she's going to cheer him up. She's going to open up to him.
And also, she kind of throws out that bone, like, scorpions are pretty creepy. That's not what I want to talk about.
Being by myself.
Which again, all this stuff she's saying here plays into what happens later when she finds out Joel's trying to give her up, giving her away to Tommy.
Yeah.
Those things out there. What if
And it's kind of the same thing we're seeing with Tess,
what if they're trapped
to where she was,
their body?
again, she knows what's going on, he knows what's going on, but it's looking externally for some kind of either comfort or hope or answer or something.
We're a team now.
And then they just always come up empty.
I guess one thing I'm just thinking about now, which is all the stuff Sam is going through because he's bitten, is probably the stuff Ellie went through when she was first bitten, because she thought she was going to turn. And it just happens that she was immune. But so that's what she kind of,
Do you think that's true?
all these realizations she's had.
I go back and forth. I mean, I'd like to believe it.
That's a powerful thing for essentially.
It's kind of
kid to
sad because
say.
that's not what Sam wants to hear. He
Right.
wants to hear that it's all going to be all right.
Right.
But she doesn't realize that's what
No,
he
death is terrible. It's a horrible, painful process, and you're all alone.
I almost forgot. There. If he doesn't know about it, he can't take it away. All right. This did make me sad because I'll see you tomorrow. You know, he spent that whole night alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh,
You
yeah.
Henry didn't go back in there.
I let him sleep in, just like.
Yeah, let him sleep in.
Oh.
And that was the last conversation he had. And that always made me so sad after I read that, because I was like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. And what would have happened if Henry had gone in there? I mean, the fact that Henry wasn't there, I mean, plays into, you know, the culmination of this scene where he's just racked with guilt.
I mean, one thing we were very conscious of when putting the story together is we would have these really kind of dramatic moments that change the characters significantly, and then we would cut to some more time in the future.
Yeah.
And so you don't get to see right afterwards what happened to it, and then you get hints of how this affected the relationship, which is what you get into the next gameplay sequence. And this whole thing is, it's a huge change in Joel here, because now he sees, this is what's going to happen to me. The same thing that's happening to Henry right now is what would happen to me if I'm going to keep going and let Ellie get hurt.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's going to, after this moment, he makes the choice, like, I need to give her to Tommy.
Oh my God.
Sam?
Oh no.
I have no idea what that would do to a person to actually see that, to have to do that.
Yeah, I remember talking with Brandon about this when he's saying it's all your fault. He's not talking to Joel, he's talking to himself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, easy.
Yeah, the thing that's cool with this piece, Gustavo's music, is that you're carrying that weight. You're carrying the weight of that emotion of everything just happened onto the next scene, which even though they might not be thinking about Henry and Sam right this moment, but it's just that feeling is lingering going forward.
I own that shirt.
I'm pretty
I
sure
still think we
own
should
it.
sell off our mocap suits for charity.
Unwashed.
Jeffrey Pierce,
Who as the lady says?
Ashley Scott. Sorry, Ashley Hart.
Oh, yes.
Ashley Hart. She was married.
Oh, we didn't know the place was occupied. We're just trying to make our way through.
Through to where?
They're all right.
But you know these people?
Know him. He's my
The
goddamn.
chemistry was so good between
The two of
you
them.
and Jeffrey.
It was amazing how well, and I mean, Jeffrey's just a few years older than me, but it was interesting playing the older brother to him. And yeah, we felt like brothers immediately. It was crazy.
Oh, well, Jeffrey came, I mean, we almost cast Jeffrey
Yeah.
as Joel.
Be nice to
And then once, like, months later, we needed to cast Tommy. I was like, oh,
Well-
what's Jeffrey Pierce doing? That's pretty good.
Thanks for not blowing my head off.
Would have been embarrassing, considering you're my brother-in-law.
And Ashley Scott, she came really close to being cast as Tess. And
Yeah.
when we needed Maria, I was like, oh,
We
Ashley
got the
Scott.
perfect person.
There were no auditions for these roles.
I love this awkward setup of this is how he meets his sister-in-law. How he meets
Yeah.
Jeffrey's, you know, or Tommy's wife.
Story.
Why don't we bring him inside?
And you just get to see here now how Ellie's starting to become more secretive.
Well, also, it's
Guarded.
like the way they're standing and everything, it's like Ellie's kind of alone now. Like now it's like Joel is with Tommy and
There's no one familiar with Ellie.
It's quite the crew you got here.
They're good men. This place gives them a second
the
chance.
theme of redemption.
Gives us all a second chance. So why'd you leave Boston?
We went through this so many times,
I've been on quite the adventure.
and each one of them I thought was great in its own little version. It was just kind of like trying to pick the right one.
Everything to do with that.
But this is where you get to see
Well, Joel's putting up a front here. I mean, he's trying to.
he's pitching his little
yeah.
brother. And it's so interesting to see them slip how they're two different men, but they instantly go back into those roles that they were before.
I can show you.
And just by the behavior here, you get hints of what happened in those 20 years.
Right.
How dark things went.
Why bring her here?
Supposed to deliver to the fire.
Like they're playing nice.
Right, they were happy to see each other, but now it's like,
It's
oh,
right
right,
underneath the
you
surface.
haven't changed.
You know where they are. Now, I'm not asking for.
And that's, I mean, that's so true to life. Like, especially with brothers, you go back to that. I push these buttons and you do this.
This isn't for me, Tommy. This is for your damn cause.
My cause is my family.
And I loved, I mean, what Jeffrey was doing posture-wise,
Jesus, boy.
putting Joel on the offensive.
And
And
now he's just like insulting everybody here and insulting his wife.
Tommy, I need this.
Again, just Joel just expects I tell my little brother to do something, he needs to do it.
Right.
But I ain't taking that
Which
girl
is
off.
totally based on my brother.
This is how you gonna repay me, huh?
Repay you.
For all those goddamn years I took care of us.
Took care. That's what you call it? I got nothing but nightmares from those years.
You survived because of me.
It wasn't worth it.
Tommy here, Tommy and Maria shows that even in this world is horrible, you could find peace in it.
Right.
You could build a community. You don't have to resort to these things that Joel has.
That line was a great thing that Jeffrey improv'd on. Put your hands on me again. It's a good Southern phrase.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Joel! Oh man, they were coming in from every direction. Then Maria was like, "We gotta run."
That's where you see Tommy realizes for the first time that Joel really cares for this girl. This isn't just a job. And that's where he has that change, and he's like, "Oh crap,
I need to talk to you.
this is why he's asking me to do this."
Absolutely not. You tell him to go find somebody else.
And again, it's just such a real moment between a married couple. It's like
What's that all about?
honor and doing something for selfishness and everything else that doesn't play in this world anymore. Those are archaic ideals.
Tell you where the lab is?
I don't want you to go out there because you're going to get killed, and we don't owe him anything. Because I'm sure all she knows is the 20-year-old version of Joel.
Right.
Why would you risk your life for that guy? You hate him, essentially.
One fuck up and then I turn into one of those widows, okay?
And for Ellie, it was important to show that she could just read Joel. She has this bullshit detector that, just by the way he's answering her questions, she understands exactly what he asked Tommy to do.
Maria.
Here we go.
Love this moment. Here we go.
If anything at all happens to him, it's on you.
The posture and everything. He knows he's in the wrong. He knows he can't ask Tommy to do this.
Yeah.
She's thankful, you know.
Yeah, I know.
I'll take that girl of yours to the Fireflies. You don't have to worry about it.
He really cares for you.
It's best this way.
There's so much more behind it, though, than just care. It's Tommy showing that he's the bigger man, that he's the better man. And he's allowing his brother to be shallow and
Well,
selfish.
he's I think he knows what his brother's been through.
Girl of yours. She took
And he
one
knows
off.
why he can't go through that again.
Which way?
Come on.
This is probably my favorite scene.
What a long day this was.
About boys, movies, deciding which.
I honestly think this is one of the best scenes that you wrote, Neil,
It's bizarre.
Get up.
because it says so much about this world
I
and
say no.
especially Ellie, where she's at, and realizing how different and how much of a chasm there is between this world and that.
I agree.
Goddamn stupid.
Well, I guess we're both disappointed with each other then.
What do you want?
I think I really like about this scene is that
Rid of me the whole time.
they're both kind of, I guess, being selfish in a way. And yet it's coming from a place because they really care about each other. Like they don't understand that they both have been through horrible things. And they each think what they've been through has been worse.
That I'm gonna end up like Sam.
I love that she calls him out on that.
Infected.
What are you so afraid
Take
of?
care of
How
myself.
many close calls have we had?
Well, we seem to be doing all right so far.
And now you'll be doing even better with Tommy.
Not her, you know.
What?
And it's like the stakes are high, and it's like, okay, well, then I'm going to drop this bomb. I'm not her.
Mighty thin ice here.
It's like, how many years has it probably been for Joel since he even like
Don't bring
thought
up
about
that
it,
name.
mentioned it?
You have no idea what loss is.
I think Joel's thought of that name every day, but I don't think he's heard it said.
Has either died or
That
left.
shove that you gave that was nowhere in the script.
Fucking except for you.
I think that came out of frustration, definitely, because when we had come back and we couldn't find it, and I wasn't necessarily frustrated with you, I was frustrated with us in the scene, and I was like, oh, fuck.
It's so cold of Joel to do this, and I've had people on the team ask me to remove this part, that he's being too cold, and I'm like, no, it's like, because she's being so vulnerable and he's having these feelings, he's trying to shut it down. That's why he's being so cold. It was so important for me to keep that in there.
When he says, "You're not my daughter," it's almost an insult.
Inside already.
And it's kind of the opposite of what he's feeling.